And if you are a Falcons fan, you know this is, look, we like the World Cup. I love the World Cup. But the sports world turns its attention now to the NFL season that's really starting to get underway. Training camp just kicked off. Well, Maria Martin is fresh off of spending another day at training camp.
Fresh being the operative word. I am not fresh. I smell like sunscreen.
Not suntanned, though. You didn't burn, so the screen is doing its job.
Wait, I was going to say, am I not? I'm looking a little
You're not
tan.
sunburned. As I was saying it, I was like, what I meant was sunburned.
Yeah. I gotcha.
This isn't a sunscreen commercial. You did great.
Thank you.
How did the Falcons do today? Because it feels like we are just a couple days into, I don't want to say the new season, but kind of the new season now.
Right.
And an old question is back again. What's going on at quarterback?
A redundant question, it feels like, right?
Perennial, perhaps?
Yeah.
Not perennial, but
we hope not.
Last couple of years.
But it feels like that.
Yeah.
I mean, it certainly does. Ever since the departure of Matt Ryan, we still don't have an answer.
That was a long time ago, by the way.
It was. I mean, I say departure of Matt Ryan. He was out there today slinging the football to the receivers.
If you put that on Twitter, people are going to get some ideas.
It's already there. It's already there. I put the video, and people do have ideas. They've looked
broken
up
containment.
I actually just got a tweet at me that said the last line in his job description says other duties as needed.
No.
And so now people are, they're thinking Matt, and Matt can still sling it. Let's be very clear. He's healthy. He looks great out there. And I think that that's probably his favorite part of the day, that he gets to throw a football. But don't get any ideas. Kevin Stefanski did joke yesterday that Matt Ryan is not an option at quarterback. So right now what we're looking at, Zach, is a situation where let's just rewind it and remind everybody that this is only day 2 of practice. So what that means is these guys are in helmets and shorts. There are no shells involved. There are no pads involved, which that will happen next week. The NFL has a ramp-up period throughout training camp, so these guys can't just go full bore right out of the gate. They do have to ramp up and see who's in shape, and I've noticed a couple people that probably missed a little bit of the offseason out there so far.
That's what training camp's for.
It is, and it's not the quarterbacks, so you're welcome, everybody. But here's where we're at with the quarterbacks. Michael Penix Jr., he is not cleared to play team drills at all, so he won't be involved in the 11-on-11. About 4 weeks until he can hit the next benchmark from this injury that happened in late November, where it ended his season, and it's his 3rd ACL injury. So what they're doing is being overly cautious with Mike. I think it's smart. Past that, Tua Tagovailoa doesn't come to practice the first day because he has an issue. Kevin never really said out loud what the issue was, but it's a re-aggravated issue from what we know. However, he said it's not very concerning. He expects Tua back sooner rather than later. Great news, Zach. Very great news on this Thursday. He was out there. He was throwing. Now, he wasn't involved in a lot of the team drills, but he was out there throwing at least in warm-ups.
How do you look?
Fine. He was just throwing the football, just off to the side. So you can't really get a good measuring stick on that. He'll be back, I'm sure, next week.
I only ask that because, with a guy like Tua, and you and I have talked about this.
Yeah.
Really high ceiling, but a history of injury. So I think with him in particular, anytime there's the whiff of a whisper of what's going on here, it gets people even more tuned in.
Yeah, so their antennas go up a little bit.
We're rooting for his quick recovery.
100%. And you make a really good point, especially with this coaching staff who's so adamant that whatever quarterback does trot out there in week 1, they want them to be incredibly accurate. It is a phrase that we've heard and an adjective that we've heard surrounding quarterbacks in this organization that's going to live throughout the football season. Accuracy is a very great attribute to Tua Tagovailoa's game. He's an incredibly accurate quarterback, but as you mentioned, Zach, he can't stay healthy. So hopefully he can get back sooner rather than later. So where does that leave us with all of this? Trevor Siemian gets released because of an injury. So then they literally signed Cooper Rush off of an airplane yesterday morning. He lands in Flowery Branch. He's shaking people's hands in the huddle, quite literally. Jahan Dotson told us, a new receiver for the Falcons, told us, I met Cooper Rush for the first time today out there.
Yeah, shaking hands like, hi, hello, I'm the new quarterback.
My name's
not,
Cooper
hey,
Rush.
it's good
nice
to see you again.
Yeah, 100%. So that's where we're at. And now, who's the guy taking the QB1 reps? Well, it's an undrafted rookie free agent in Jack Strahan, who's coming out of Minnesota State Moorhead. So he's just bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. He's kind of drinking from a fire hose right now, and it's great for him to have this experience. But it is just a little bit concerning that we're talking about the 2 quarterbacks who we all thought was just going to be this cinematic battle from day 1. We're going to have to wait until that happens.
The Odyssey is out now. We're in the era of great cinema once again. This is the first act, so that great cinematic battle, it could continue. And what a great plot hook to begin with Minnesota State Moorhead. Is that a D2 school?
Yes. Pretty sure.
Sensational.
I'm having to learn at the same time as everybody else. Everyone is asking, Jack, who'd you play in college? Like, what's going on? I mean, here's the thing about Jack Strand, though, and this is why a lot of fans, I think, are pushing for him to get reps. It's funny. They're all tweeting at me saying, Jack Strand better be QB1. And I think there's a little bit of joking to that, and that's no shade on Jack Strand. The kid's got a great arm. He's got, I think, a bright future. I don't know that it's going to be QB1, at least not with the Falcons. It's certainly not going to be. We know once Michael Penix Jr. and Tua Tagovailoa can be healthy, the battle will lie in their hands. It's going to be one of those quarterbacks that trots out there on week one. But what a tremendous opportunity for Jack. I mean, you are talking about someone who is just like, what is going on? I'm now QB1 for a minute. And he was lovely to talk to today. He was very humble and kind of just like, what's going on? I'm trying to learn everything quick.
That's what makes sports wonderful. I mean, you just don't know. I mean, here's an athlete who, undrafted, he certainly had a lot of question marks about what his future looks like. And now, boom, here you are. Also, likely doing a lot of handshaking and hi, this is who I am.
They're like,
I'm
wait,
the
you're
quarterback
who?
now.
Yeah,
A lot of learning, it's like the first day of school a little bit for the Falcons right now. What else is going on? There have been some question marks about Bijan Robinson.
Yeah, Bijan Robinson didn't practice for a second straight day today. Not surprising to me. You know, he is holding out. We're going to call it a hold in, not hold out, but he is holding in for the sake of the conversation for a new contract extension. And it's inevitable that it happens. He watched two of the other offensive pieces that are key to this success of the Falcons, we hope, offensively this year, get contract extensions that were very warranted. And in Kyle Pitts and Drake London. Drake London talked to us today, stood on the table for Bijan like he always did. He answered my question when I said, what does Bijan Robinson mean to this offense? He said one word, everything. And he's right. I mean, Bijan really is the catalyst for everything with this offense. And so it is appropriate that Bijan is operating in this way. And it's funny, when I was watching him yesterday, so the first day of practice, I see him standing on the sideline, no helmet at all, no helmet in hand. And I said, that's interesting. Go on Twitter, find out if Jahmyr Gibbs is practicing in Detroit, and lo and behold, he's not. These are the two running backs in the NFL that are seeking market-changing contracts, and they're both going to get them. It's just at a rate of who goes first. You know, does Detroit make the move first? Does Atlanta make the move first? Bijan's going to get it. He's going to get paid. He deserves that. It's just a matter of when the pen goes to paper.
Talk to the fans out there who, I think particularly if you're an Atlanta Falcons fan, you have some reason to feel a little tight, a little nervy when you see a season start off like this, even if it defies a little bit of logic. You know, It's a long season. We're 2 days into training camp now.
Right. Yeah, we don't even have pads on.
It's a long, long, long way to go. And so I think there's some folks out there who are diehards who know in their rational brain, okay, look, it's a long way to go. Let's not get riled up here. I suspect fans, being fans, also have a part of them that go, oh, man, let's not do this journey like we did again the last few years. I want to win, want to make the playoffs. Level set for us here. What's the logical right way to be looking at all this?
I'm an impossible level setter. Do you realize that every single year that I cover this team, I say they're making the playoffs, whether I believe that or not?
I'm glad you said this because I was teeing you up and I was recalling our conversation the other day. I wanted to see if you went there.
No, I truly do want them to make the playoffs. Obviously,
I do too. We all do.
For personal gain, I want to go. I haven't been to an NFL playoff game for a team I've covered.
A million Falcons fans are going, yeah, us too.
No, 100%. And they're always, carrying the torch with me, and they really want that to happen. But you're right. And it's warranted, I think, that feeling, especially when you see Kevin Stefanski come in here, new coaching staff come in here. Kevin's track record in Cleveland, you look at that from bird's eye view and you say, well, it wasn't that great. And that's what fans are focusing on, is that he didn't have a winning track record in Cleveland, which organizationally, everyone knows that Cleveland is a disaster. So it's hard to compare those two things. Kevin here, it's a breath of fresh air. It's a turning of the page. Maybe it means more winning football, but to your point, Zach, when you walk into day 1, day 2 of training camp and you're looking around the quarterback room and saying, hello, does someone have a Band-Aid? Can someone Band-Aid together a quarterback? Can we have a quarterback battle? It's really hard to feel optimistic about what's happening with the team because the pieces are in place offensively. I think the pieces are in place defensively as well. Obviously, a lot of new faces on both sides of the ball, but when you don't have a quarterback, it can only mean bad things for your football team. You cannot win without a quarterback. And now they have a hodgepodge of a bunch of different guys, and and they're hoping that they can actually get a quarterback battle out of the summer. But when you hear 4 weeks down the line for Mike, you start to scratch your head and say, are we really going to get a competition out of this thing? So again, I think I've said it before, it would behoove the Falcons to have Michael Penix Jr. be their starting quarterback. It helps you financially. It helps you in the long run. That's where you put all your eggs in your basket when you drafted him in the first round and really kind of shipped Kirk Cousins out of here. It was the catalyst for that. But so now, as a fan, I understand the concern. I totally do. You guys are obviously going to be in Flowery Branch on Friday, so have a lot of fun out there. Hydrate, wear your sunscreen. But it's exciting to see Falcons fans out there at least, but I understand the concern because even myself, when you see these things happen just in the first couple of days, you think, how's this going to work out?
You used a good word there, behoove. That was nice. That was
I think
SAT word.
I don't know. I listened to you use big vocabulary words all the time.
We sit close to each other. Who's rubbing off on whom?
Oh.
Like that?
Oh, yeah. Reeves too. Yeah. Zach is very smart.
That's not true. Let's put a big disclaimer on this one.
No. And you've increased my vocabulary game.
Well, we've all learned a lot of words from producer extraordinaire Megan Smedley.
I believe that.
Big word gal. Let's talk a little bit about, as we talk about the culture in our part of the newsroom. We all get to sit next to each other, which is great. Let's talk about the locker room. Let's talk about the front office culture a little bit, because as you point out, Kevin Stefanski, he's new. A lot of the coaches around him are new. This is a franchise that is...
Matt Ryan
is new.
Yeah.
New to this job.
Sure.
He's not new to Atlanta. But this is a team, this is a fan base, this is a city that has, for better or probably for worse, gotten used to the churn in leadership positions. Now that we're off to the start of this new season, given everything we just talked about, how does that factor into the way a brand new coaching staff attacks its plan for the year?
Yeah, I mean, it's a big deal. And, we're only 2 days in. So just a reminder, once we get through the summer, I think you're going to start to learn a little bit more about how this coaching staff operates and what their vision is for this football team. And, they're holding all their cards close to the vest, and they have to because, as we mentioned, there is a dire situation happening at the quarterback position. But aside from that, so far, it seems like, and again, this is very early, but they had complete attendance in the offseason, which not every NFL team can say that. These guys were eager to get into the building, eager to turn the page with this new coaching staff. I think that says a lot when guys want to be in there, and that's no shade on previous players who have not wanted to be there in the offseason. People have different things going on, and veterans have a right to skip certain things. So there's nothing wrong with that. But I think the fact that everyone showed up and was eager to be around this new coaching staff, to learn, to figure out what's going on. I mean, they have had coaches come through that building who were wonderful people and had great plans. It just has not worked out. And so now I think it's cool to listen to a guy like Drake London, who, gosh, he's so young in his NFL career. I can't believe he's entering year 5. But Drake London has just been whiplashed by the coaching turnover in Atlanta, and yet he still just received this life-changing contract. It speaks a lot of volume about the players in that building, that they're able to change and still do their job at a high clip. It's the NFL. It's a business. It's what happens. And I think that they understand that. They're excited about the future. Tommy Rees, who's a young offensive coordinator who we haven't seen be proven to be a good play caller, doesn't mean he's not, but we haven't seen him do that yet. His opportunity now arises in Atlanta. And Drake London, I asked him about his level of excitement around Tommy today, and he talked about the fact that Tommy's just, you can tell right away, he's purely an offensive-minded guy. He's spitting ideas out at you. He's about his business. He's very organized. And that's what I've heard from kind of behind the rope, if you will, about this coaching staff, is that they are all very organized. They're about their business. There is kind of no nonsense when it comes to the football stuff. And I think that that's kind of what this organization needs. So to get guys in there that really love the game, and not that other coaching staffs haven't, but these guys are really all about it. And I think you're going to see that kind of transfold as this summer transfolds as well.
Culture is something that I think a lot of folks on the outside, a lot of people with a more layman's understanding of the game, like myself, compared to you, spend maybe more time talking about it. So pull the curtain back. How much does culture in the locker room matter? If you look at some franchises that just always seem to be winning, they seem, at least from the outside, to take the inevitable bumps in the road a little more in stride than some of the franchises that seem to more frequently struggle. The same road bumps tend to take on, at least from the outside again,
sure,
a bigger, more prominent space in the kind of the view from inside the locker room of the way the season is going. Is that just kind of all fabricated by people who aren't in the locker room and have never done it at this level, or is there some truth to that?
Not entirely. I mean, I think culture is a big thing in anything that you do, not just a football organization too. One thing that I can say about the Falcons is they've had incredible people walk through that building, yet for some reason they're not winning. There's a lot of different facets to that, right? You know, when there's not respect from your players in a sense of I will ride or die with anything that you tell me to do, which happens a lot, even in the NFL, even at the NFL level, you have to have a certain number and certain thing of respect from players.
It's buy-in, right?
Yeah, it is buy-in, and it's hard to do right away. So this is something that is built over time. NFL stands for not for long. Everybody knows that. And so you're balancing the art of trying to get players to buy in right away, but it's like, wait a second, I don't really know this guy. So there's a balance to it, and I think those that have the command and really the experience, they have a level up in the National Football League. There are coaches in that building right now with 20 plus years of NFL coaching experience. That is where your buy-in comes from. That's where you get veterans on board.